Good day everyone, I'm Richard Hambon. For today's lecture, our topic is about the customs of the Tagalog, written by Juan de Plasencia. So first, who is Juan de Plasencia? The author Juan de Plasencia was in the first place not a native Tagalog but a Franciscan missionary who first arrived in the Philippines. His real name was Juan de Portocarrero, one of the 7 children born in the region of Extremadura during the Golden Age or Siglo de Oro Spain. This was the age of Spain's venture to other lands in search of riches. During this time, there was an avid interest for missionary work in the newly established colonies, and Plasencia signed up for missionary work under the Franciscan order. Plasencia was one of the first 19 Franciscan missionaries who arrived in the Philippines on July 2, 1578. He was asked by the King of Spain to document the customs and traditions of the colonized natives, based on, arguably, his own observation and judgments. He was assigned in the Tagalog area, and aside from sacerdotal and missionary work, he was responsible for the establishment of pueblos in Quezon, Laguna, Rizal, and Bulacan. His keen ethnographic skills made him produce his seminal work, The Relación de las Costumbres de los Tagalogs, Customs of the Tagalogs, in 1989, and Doctrina Cristiana in Lengua Espanola y Tagala, Doctrina Cristiana in Spanish and Tagalog, that is believed to be the first book ever printed in the Philippines, and it was not only printed in Spanish but also in Tagalog, in both the thin script and the commonly used Baybayin script of the natives of the time, and even had a version in Chinese. Juan de Plasencia wrote a number of books designed primarily to promote the understanding of both the Spanish language among the natives and the local languages among the missionaries to facilitate the task of spreading Christianity. He acknowledged at an early stage the need of mastering the language of the natives in order to facilitate evangelization. He died in Liliu, Laguna in 1590. His book was published in 1593. Let's talk about the historical background of customs of Tagalog. Customs of the Tagalog was written during the Spanish colonial period. Customs of Tagalogs, just like any other colonial text written during the Spanish colonial period, was intentionally made to provide an exoticized description of the Tagalog natives, fed by politics and propaganda, and operated with Eastern outside gaze that would be appealing to them. This work was first published in La Revista Contemporánea Madrid, 25 de Junio de 1892. The manuscript of this work is the only copy in the convent of Franciscan Fathers in Manila. Father Plasencia wrote these notes in Nagarland, Laguna, October 24, 1589, at the request of the governor, Santiago de Vera, who wanted to know the customs and laws of the Tagalogs for possible adjustments of the Spanish justice system for the islands. Customs of the Tagalog is a part, either chapters of subsections, of longer monographs written by the chronicles of the Spanish expeditions to the Philippines during the early 16th and 17th centuries. They appeared initially in Blair and Robertson's 55 volumes, The Philippines Island, 1903, and in the Philippines Journal of Sciences, 1958. The important historical information. First is the barangay. Its origin was a family of parents and children, relations, and slaves. There were many of these in each town, or at least an account of wars. They did not settle far from one another. They were not, however, subject to one another except in friendship and relationships. The chiefs in their various wars helped one another with their respective barangays. Datu, village chief or the heads of barangay. Datu was responsible for maintaining order and settling disputes within the community. 3. Caste. Nobles. The nobles were the freeborn whom they called Maharlika. They did not pay tax or tribute to the Datu, but must accompany him in war at your own expense. The chief offered them beforehand. They feast and afterward they divided the sports. Commoners. The commoners are called aliping namamahay. They are married and served their master whether he be a datu or not, with half of their cultivated lands, as well as was agreed upon in the beginning. They accompanied him whenever he went beyond the island and rode for him. They live in their own houses and are lords of their property and gold. Slaves. The slaves are called aliping sagigili. They serve their master in his house and on his cultivated lands, and may be sold. The master grants them should he see fit, and providing that he has profited through their industry a portion of their harvest, so they may work faithfully. One of the main customs of Tagalogs during the time was their use of Baybayin script, a pre-colonial writing system that was widely used throughout the archipelago. Plasencia noted the Tagalogs used Baybayin to write poems, songs, and other literary works in the Tagalog language. The script was also used to record historical events, genealogies, and other important information. Another important aspect of Tagalog culture that Plasencia documented was their clothing. He noted that the Tagalogs wore loose-fitting clothing made of cotton or silk. Men wore bahag or loincloth, while women wrapped around skirt called tapis and short-sleeved blouse known as baro. They also adorned themselves with jewelry such as necklaces, bracelets, and earrings made of gold, silver, and other materials. Religion was another important aspect of Tagalog's culture that Plasencia documented before the arrival of the Spanish. The Tagalogs had their own religious beliefs, which included the worship of anitos or spirits. With the introduction of Catholicism, Tagalogs incorporated some of their indigenous belief into the new religion, resulting a syncretic faith that blended Catholicism and traditional beliefs. Plasencia noted that Tagalogs held the rituals and ceremonies to honor the ancestors and various deities that govern aspects of nature and daily life. Agriculture was also an important part of Tagalog culture that Plasencia observed. He noted that Tagalogs were skilled farmers who cultivated rice, vegetables, and other crops during advanced techniques such as terracing, irrigation, and crop rotation. They also used various tools and implementations such as the plow, harrow, and sickle to aiding their agricultural activities. What are the contribution and relevance of the document in understanding the grand narrative of the Philippine history? The book is a collection of observations of the society of the people of Luzon from eyes of an outsider. This would make us aware of the cultures we had before the colonizers controlled our ancestors' customs and practices. Furthermore, the book let us appreciate how our ancestors developed this structure. It helped understand and preserve many of the traditional ways of the local population. This relation, as far as the history of the Philippines is concerned, is quite exceptional, not to mention as well as with its effects to the early legal system of the country. It did not only preserve to prosperity the formerly unwritten customs, traditions, and beliefs of the natives, but it also gave the Philippines its civil code, used by the alcaldes mayores in their administration of justice. Overall, Plasencia's documentation provides a detailed and comprehensive account of customs and traditions. Also, Tagalog people during the early years of Spanish colonization. His writings offer valuable insights into the social, cultural, and religious practices of the Tagalogs and provide a glimpse into a rich and diverse heritage of the Philippines. This civil code, in a way, gave the natives the opportunity and indispensable tool to, to protect and defend themselves in legal cases, and for the administrations of justice to conduct their duties and obligations accordingly. Okay, before I end this lesson, I would like to share to you this quote from our great hero, Dr. Jose Rizal. The grand narrative of Philippine history is a story of struggle, resistance, and resilience that continues to shape our nation today. Thank you everyone. I hope you learned a lot from this lecture.